Considering buying a new LG TV but not sure which model is right for you? Let's help you out. Now, buying a new TV can be really confusing, and let's face it, TV manufacturers have a habit of making things far more complicated with their model names and tech jargon. So while we love doing in-depth reviews and product comparisons on our channel, hopefully these more simple buying guides will be a great place to start your TV buying journey, and of course help you make an informed decision and ultimately find the best TV for you and your budget. Now, if you're not set on LG, then we have created buying guides for the likes of Samsung and Sony's 2022 TV ranges, so be sure to check those out. Now, as always, if you want to support us, then head over to smarthomesounds.co.uk, and if you want any more personal advice, then we're more than happy to help. And if you find this video helpful, then of course we'd love it if you subscribed and joined the community. Now, before I get into the lineup, there are two things that we need to get very clear. Firstly, pricing for TVs fluctuate all the time, so while we will include prices to give you a context in this video, please check the links below for the latest pricing. And secondly, TV manufacturers love to give their models very complicated names, which doesn't help when you're shopping around for a new TV. So let's break it down. Some brands like Sony have a uniformed way of naming their models, but LG differ slightly between their Nano and QNED and their OLED naming. Starting with the QNED and Nanocell models, let's take this example here. 55 QNED 86 6QA. The 55 at the start is the screen size, so 55 inch. QNED is the TV panel type, quantum nanocell emitting diode in this example. 86 indicates where this model sits in the range. The higher the number, the higher it sits in the range and the more expensive it is. From these last three characters, you only really need to note the middle letter, Q, in this example, as this tells you the year the model was released. Q indicates 2022, and it was P last year for 2021. Moving over to OLED naming them, which is slightly more straightforward. Let's take this one as an example. OLED 65 C2 4LA. The first part, OLED, is the type of TV panel. In this case, OLED, meaning a TV which has an organic light emitting diode panel. The numbers 65 are the TV screen size, so 65 inch. The C is where this model sits in the series, A is the most affordable and Z is the most premium. The 2 is the year that this model was released, X was 2020, 1 was 2021, 2 is 2022. And then the final part, 4LA, is less important but can signify things like the type of broadcast tuner, sales region and stand type. For the C2, for example, 4LA is for models with a black back and 6LD is for models with a white back panel. So today we'll be covering the new models for 2022, which can be broken down into 4 sections. We've got the entry-level TVs, the UQ range, our Nanocell models, the QNED range, and finally the OLEDs. Now, there are chapters along the bottom here, so if you know that you're after an OLED, for example, then please feel free to just skip ahead. Now, I'm actually going to skip the entry-level UQ models as they are pretty straightforward, but all you need to know with them is that the higher the number, the better the model. So UQ91, for example, is better than UQ75. Okay, let's jump in with the Nanocell models for 2022, as we believe this is where most people will start when comparing. Now, there was a lot of hype around these models in 2021, and they seem to be the range that LG were pushing, but in 2022, they seem to have moved more towards QNED. However, the Nanocell models offer a good entry point for those looking above the UQ range. Now, Nanocell TVs have tiny nanoparticles which make up a filtering layer designed to improve the colour depth you get and ultimately offer a vivid colour reproduction. Plus, Nanocell TVs tend to look good from almost any angle, so are a good choice for off-axis viewing. Now, there are 2 Nanocell models this year, Nano 81 and Nano 76. For those of you guys not in the UK, you might have slightly different name variations, such as Nano 80 or Nano 75. Now, the Nano 76 is the more affordable of the 2 and comes in a huge range of sizes from 43 inch right the way up to 86 inch. It offers the Alpha 5 Gen 5 AI processor, which is a step down from the Alpha 7 or Alpha 9 processor found in the models higher in the range, and a 60 Hz refresh rate, so it's probably not our #1 recommendation for next-gen gaming. However, it does support game optimizer mode and ALLM, so it depends on what your non-negotiables are, I guess. Now, the one exception for this model is the larger 86-inch screen size, which offers a step up to the Alpha 7 Gen 5 AI processor and offers a refresh rate of 120 Hz. Now the model above, the Nano 81, is a step up in price and also steps up in performance. We go from a direct lit panel to an edge lit panel, which gives us a few upgrades. So firstly, this model is slimmer in design, but it also benefits from local dimming, which will provide more control over the picture. Local dimming is where there are different sections of the backlight which can be controlled independently, which helps to improve contrast and can also help reduce blooming around bright objects. Now we also get an additional HDMI port, so 4 in the Nano 81 compared with 3 in the Nano 76. Now it's not a huge leap between the two models, but there are some benefits to spending a little bit more with the Nano 81, such as the slimmer screen and step up in visual performance. While LG's Nanocell models do offer a big step up from the entry-level TVs, they struggle more with the blacks in images and the overall contrast. So if you're looking for better contrast than blacks, then you'll want to consider the models above. So next up is the QNED range that sits below LG's OLED options and combines quantum dot with their Nanocell screen, and we have 4 options, 1 8K model and 3 4K models. QNED is essentially LG's answer to Samsung's QLED LCD TVs and offers an alternative to OLED. Now while many believe that OLED is best for picture quality, it's great to have a range of options available for those who would prefer an LED model, as well as continual improvements to keep them pushing OLED as much as possible. So without overcomplicating things, I'll give a brief summary on the technology that these TVs offer. If you break down QNED, you've got quantum dot nanocell emitting diodes, and LG have said that the combination of these two technologies provide the best color reproduction that LG has ever managed to get from an LED display. Quantum dot technology offers a huge step up in terms of colour reproduction and saturation, and as mentioned, nanocell screens also help with better viewing angles and colour depth. So your overall picture will experience the benefits from both. Now the entry-level model is a standard QNED model, but the rest of the range then combines QNED with mini LED, taking the visual performance even further. Mini LED seems to be the big thing in 2022, and it essentially steps up from standard LCD panels by offering lots of smaller LEDs so they can pack far more in, around 30,000, and far more dimming zones, close to 2,500 for the larger models. The result of that is an overall drastically higher peak brightness, better detail and precision, and better control over the picture for deeper blacks, so you should get less haloing. The entry-level QNED 81 is the more affordable option in this lineup, available in a range of sizes and offering a rich colour performance with that QNED technology at work. However, it's the only non-mini LED model in the QNED lineup and is essentially an edge-lit LED. As it has fewer dimmable zones and can't control the backlighting zones, the overall picture quality isn't at the same level as the models above, and it won't be able to achieve the same level of contrast. So if you're after that mini LED combination, you'll want to look at the models above. Now you may also see a QNED 82 option, which is the same model as this, just a slightly different colour variation. We step up with the QNED 86, the first model in the QNED range to combine QNED tech with mini LED. This 4K TV is available in 55, 65, 75 and 86 inch and offers HDMI 2.1 with 4K 120 and support for VRR. This is a great middle ground for this range, and to be honest, there isn't a lot of difference with the model above. You step up to Precision Dimming Pro, which will offer a slightly better performance, but I would say that the QNED 86 is a really nice sweet spot. The QNED 91 is LG's most advanced 4K LCD TV with mini LED, 120Hz panel, HDMI 2.1, VRR, and the quantum dot and nanocell technology. This is a great option for those not looking at OLED. With the Alpha 7 Gen 5 AI chip, it offers a solid performance and impressively bright display. At the top of the QNED range is the QNED 99, an 8K model, which is the flagship for this model type. Available in the larger sizes of 65 and 75 inch, this model is for larger rooms and it does come with a very hefty price tag. We've got the 8K Alpha 9 Gen 5 processor, as well as Precision Dimming Pro Plus with this model, plus we've got 4 HDMI 2.1 ports and support for VRR. LG have a few 8K options in their lineup this year, which opens up the conversation around whether it's time for 8K yet, or whether there still isn't enough content out there to make it really worth it. For me, the upscaling is great and the detail 8K offers is pretty incredible, but with so little content currently available and so early on in the adoption phase, I think 8K models are reserved for those who like having the latest and greatest tech and who have the budget to get on board with it right now. For me, I'm just excited for the future of TVs, and 8K TVs are a fantastic indicator of what's to come. Okay, finally onto the OLEDs then, which are the real front runners in LG's lineup and make up a significant proportion of the overall range. The range goes from A2, B2, C2, jumps to G2, and then all the way to Z2, getting progressively more premium as we go. OLED TVs don't require a backlight as there are individual diodes which emit their own light. This means that each diode can be turned completely on or off, which gives far more control over the final picture, offers pure blacks, and far greater contrast ratios. The LG A2 is the entry-level OLED in the range, which offers the Alpha 7 Gen 5 processor. It does offer a brilliant OLED picture, however, we sacrifice a bit on certain areas to make this a more affordable model. Refresh rate is 60 Hz, we've got no HDMI 2.1 ports and no VRR, so it's not going to be ideal for gamers. But it's still a solid OLED option for movies and TV and comes in a nice range of sizes. On the whole, this is a budget OLED option for those looking with a lower budget or for a secondary space. I think it's great that LG offer OLED performance at a more affordable price point, and if you're not fussed at the features they've removed to bring the price down, then this is a great option for you. The B2 does step up in performance but retains that same Alpha 7 Gen 5 processor. We step up to 120 Hz and add HDMI 2.1 ports, only 2, but they do offer support for ALLM and VRR. So when combined with HDIG, G-Sync and FreeSync Premium, this is a good option for next-gen gaming. Although there's no compact screen sizes here, so we've got 55, 65 and 77-inch options available for the B2. Right, this is where I think a lot of you guys will be looking and a hugely popular model this year. The LG C2 now sees the introduction of OLED Evo technology. Now, as mentioned, this is an LG exclusive technology, which is a result of their experience with OLED technology. OLED Evo combines cutting-edge picture algorithms and LG's Alpha 9 Gen 5 AI processor, a processor which has been optimized for OLED panel technology and which can detect the content quality and type and optimize sound and picture performance accordingly. You've also then got Brightness Booster to help boost the brightness, which has been a known downside for OLEDs in the past. Now, this technology was released last year in their G1 model, but is now entering the range at a lower price point with the C2. So we know that the C2 uses the new Alpha 9 Gen 5 AI processor, which also helps by upscaling non-4K content to close to 4K brilliantly. This model is available in a huge range of sizes, making it a great fit for pretty much any space, though it is worth highlighting that the smaller sizes, the 42-inch and 48-inch, won't be as bright as the larger options. We've got 4 HDMI 2.1 ports with this model, so it's a great option for gaming, and on the whole, it's a pretty impressive TV. We've actually done a full review, which I'll link up here or down in the description, where we go into far more depth on this model, but the introduction of Evo at a lower price point was a great move from LG, and I personally think this is the sweet spot for the LG OLED range. Now, you may see a variant available at some retailers, the CS, which is a slightly different version of the 2021 C1. It doesn't offer the OLED Evo technology, so not as bright as the C2, and it's more limited with screen sizes. However, it's generally cheaper than the C2, so one to consider if the C2 is a little bit out of budget. Onto the flagship 4K OLED model from LG, the G2. This levels up performance again and brings in the biggest OLED option from LG at 97-inch. We get a step up from the C2 with the addition of a heat dissipation layer, which helps improve peak and average brightness, and LG's Brightness Booster AI algorithm suggests that this is their brightest OLED yet, 30% brighter than a conventional OLED model. This model is referred to as the Gallery Edition, optimized for wall mounting, and it's worth noting that it's only supplied with a wall mount. It's compatible with LG's range of stands, but they will come at additional cost. It's a stunning TV, and for those with the budget, this will give you a premium OLED performance. Personally, I love the look of the G2 and the added brightness over the C2. It does also offer a slightly more nuanced color palette, and ultimately is the better picture quality over the C2, but you do need to weigh up if the added cost is worth it for you, or if the C2 ticks enough boxes. Now, what about 8K OLED? Well, LG's flagship 8K model is the Z2, powered by the 8K version of the Alpha 9 Gen 5 processor and available in the larger sizes of 77 and 88-inch only. Now, I won't lie guys, this one's expensive. It's not going to be a mainstream choice this year, but for those looking for the best of the best, this is an incredible TV. The 77-inch has the gallery design, so it's very thin, making it perfect for wall mounting, but it does also come with a wall mount bracket and feet in the box. Now the 88-inch model, however, is floor standing only. Now we do get 120Hz panel and support for 4K at 120Hz with this Z2 model. Audio-wise, we also get a 4.2 channel setup, so it should offer a decent performance to match up with the visuals. Now, as I said earlier, the detail you get with an 8K and the upscaling is really impressive, and for those looking for 8K right now, this is a serious one to consider. So there we have it, LG's 2022 lineup in a nutshell. Hopefully that's helped to break it down for you and given you a little bit of a better understanding at where you might be looking in the range. Now, if you would like any more in-depth reviews or comparisons between different models, then please comment down below and we can help you guys out. Let us know which model are you gonna go for. Thank you all very much for watching and we'll catch you next time.